Welcome everyone to another video of this series, and what's kind of heartbreaking to see but also pretty revealing is that Robinhood has rebranded again. Apparently they didn't vibe with what Collins had given them, and it's been like some 3 years max and they've already rebranded completely. The vision is changed, the strategy is changed. Virjinder, what do you think? What's your first opinions?
Yes, I like that you used the word my heartbreak, because my heart has broken. If you go onto my LinkedIn, guys, I posted something about Robinhood and reviewing the case study that Collins has published, and that was my best performing post of all time. And I am heartbroken that they have completely done a switcheroo, and we're going to take a deep dive together and look into all the details. So let's see how far I can feel that pain.
Right. At the end, we all are pretty close to things like Collins, Pentagram and all. But we'll try. We'll try our best to figure out what can be the strategic reason for it.
Absolutely.
So why don't we do a deep dive into the past, which is Collins, the previous identity.
Yes, let's take a look.
Let's figure it out from there. So, Collins. Project information, we know it. It's Robinhood. It's a famous platform for investments and apparently crypto as well now. So, it's pretty all-encompassing. We start with a really fun illustration that you wouldn't expect for a banking company or a finances company.
Absolutely.
Best is to imagine a brighter future, and in doing so, take the first step towards that. Pretty futuristic.
Yeah, it is a future-oriented brand. There's, I think there's a little bit of this cartoonish quality to it. Very artistic. It's as if we're pulling from some sort of art style that's existed in the past and bringing it here.
This is my favorite fold.
Yeah.
As you rightly said, it feels like we're pulling something out of the past.
Yes.
But it's all in future. All the cars, all this illustration right there, this one.
Absolutely.
This one, the next one is my favorite. Yeah, this one.
Absolutely.
This is so perfectly done.
I really love the UI here. The stark contrast between the kind of almost clinical white section at the bottom, which just says welcome to Robinhood. You have your traditional buttons, and then at the top of it you have something just so artistic. You don't expect this type of a branding from an investment bank, any kind of investment app. That's why at the time, I think this was 2021, at the time this was such an incredible project to see, like, okay, we can think beyond the folds of kind of the box that we could put ourselves in banking. Again, you see that here.
Right. Well, they have to use it. They have used those illustrations to, bring that delight, that consumer delight, as we call it.
Yes.
And yeah, this won them a D&D award, the yellow pencil.
That's right.
And so it's even sad seeing it let go.
Absolutely.
It's so fun. Okay, investing is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
Interest.
3 legs on that rocket boost, I think. That's what it's alluding to. There's a few really famous, popular shows here. Futurama has been a really popular show on the Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, as well as Rick and Morty. And I'm inspired by that when I see these types of illustrations. It gives me sort of a nostalgic feel as well, Bruton.
Makes sense.
And also Batman Beyond as well. I grew up watching that show too. So yes, there's a bit of pulling something from the past to now be here in the future. And at the time this was released was 2020-21. During COVID, everyone was watching old movies, old TV shows, watching things on Netflix, right? So everyone was in that nostalgic zone. And that's why at the time, I think this really worked well for Robinhood. They really hit a chord that connected with the majority of the audience, which is the retail investors. And using that, let's segue into kind of the target audience here, Bratin. What is the target audience of Robinhood at the time of this branding?
Currently, it should be just proper retail investors, but if we'll go with the newer rebrand, we'll kind of figure out that you can say moving out of that positioning, maybe,
Yes.
to a bit more, to an upper slab of financial availability.
Yeah.
And in a way that makes sense, but we'll come to that because it's interesting. I have some anecdotes to share, or some, you can say, some case studies to share from our part of the world of investing.
Okay.
Interesting. Like illustrations wise, you can't tell me this doesn't look freaking cool.
Yes. It looks like a comic book.
Interesting.
And you see, this is not the first time that green has been used as a brand color. But it's not just about using green. It's about all these illustrations. They're literally tapping into the whole rainbow of colors. And that was what my original post was about, is that what Collins has done in this project is really expand the palette beyond kind of what we thought was possible. Any of these colors that you can see, you see that one image from far away, you know it's Robinhood. And that's very impressive to do.
Even pretty simply, like if I was an art director, let's say, doing this one, this dress, this cloak, why would this be red? Right? It could be some shade of green. Why not?
Sure.
But that's when you're constricting yourself. You don't need it. These are enough of a callback to Robinhood. See, even you'll find the logo engraved.
Yes. Good catch.
That's enough. Right? That's enough.
That's right.
Ethereum. Okay, this is an interesting one. This shape comes back later in the newer rebrand. Kind of this thing.
I see.
So it's interesting. Callbacks are there. And so they don't overdo it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
There's also
the
kind of line work that you see in the illustrations is also used in the layouts. So in order to separate sections, they use kind of thin colored lines. It's a little bit brutalist like that, but it's just because it's pulling from the illustrations.
My favorite thing in illustrations has always been this thing. But it's not a complete straight line. It's not a line border. It's a bit of dots, a bit of dashes.
Yes.
It's like, it's there. The separation's there. It does the 3D effect, but it doesn't overdo it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's hand-drawn. It's spontaneous, right? That's what the brand feels like at this moment. It feels like spontaneous. It's like I'm getting into some sort of a creativity. Now, how that connects to personal finance and investing, that's an interesting kind of bridge to cross. I've always kind of thought about it like that. Like, this is a very, very creative identity for something that is more of a, it's serious work. It's investing your hard-earned money.
They're exploring the capsule identity part of it. The typeface is capsule sans. Makes sense.
Okay. Very
this looks
cool.
Kind of simple.
Yeah.
These parts. And then amazing illustration again.
That's right.
Right. So that's where I was coming to, this part of the fold. As you saw, again, amazing illustration, super fun. Then simplicity.
Yeah.
Again, pretty simple, almost Swiss in a way.
Yeah.
And again, simple icons. The app, of course, has to be simple itself. It's just that there was that, that part of consumer delight in certain parts of the website, certain parts of the app as well. And so, what's interesting is this looks good. This looks really good. Do both of them align? That's the final question.
Yeah.
And that's difficult because it looks like it does. But who knows? Maybe it doesn't. Maybe that's why a rebrand was necessary.
Yeah.
We'll dive into that now. Interesting. So, before I do that, the anecdote that I was talking about, it's that in India there's a company called Zerodha. It's the biggest one it has profits, and it's bootstrapped. So all three qualities that you can expect.
Okay.
And the beautiful thing is, they haven't done all. I think the marketing budget is literally zero. It's all inbound. It's all because of the great personal brands of both the founders, Nitin on Twitter, Nikhil on YouTube and other places. And just that has been enough to get those investors on board, those retail investors on board who are actually investing or consistently trading. That's what has given them a proper revenue. Versus if we'll go for the other competitors, which I won't name, I mean, they're the remaining two basically. They just did a lot of marketing during COVID times. Lots of marketing, lots of funding backed by big houses, and they got a lot of people onboarded on the app. They were just not able to make money. There's revenues, they were just not able to bring in revenues. People were doing option trading and all those other things that doesn't yield revenue for the company, for the broking platform. So that's a really interesting thing, because that was a misstep from their side that I don't think they even thought about. Because it's difficult to have that foresight of, okay, we'll get people onboarded, they will do something on the platform, we'll make money, pretty simple. But what if we're getting the wrong people on board? That's a really difficult thing to think of. And this is pertinent, especially in this banking, broking sector. Margins are just super thin. It's a game of volume, right? And so somewhere I feel that this has some promise. The rebrand may be somewhere down the line. Maybe this was one of those calls, because maybe they were getting the people on board who were not doing as much for the company to make money as a possibility. And of course, right off the bat, we see a nothing inspiration with a random animal.
Mantis.
Yeah.
Praying mantis, or is it just a mantis?
No clue.
I don't even know what it's standing on. Is that some sort of red 3D cube sphere?
It's a sphere.
Right.
Blue and red, completely different branding off the bat.
Far off from the green that we know and love.
Mm-hmm. New visual identity is an external representation of the growth and maturity of our business.
Mm-hmm.
External representation. Is that a good thing? External representation. Okay. Throughout the design process, we channeled the bold and disruptive spirit that defines Robinhood to create something completely different. Elevates our brand. When people say elevating the brand, challenging the industry, I think what they're trying to say is we are not making enough money, we need more luxury customers.
That's true.
I believe that's kind of the cry for help, if you will.
That's true.
Cry for more.
Or maybe just a different customer base altogether. It's as if given the previous identity and given kind of the place that the world was in during COVID, which is when that identity project and everything happened, and then people started really onboarding onto Robinhood because they had some extra money, right? At that point, like a flood of customers from a very specific type of segment came in, which we call just retail investors, the large majority of the audience. Right. So getting into them and their strategy here, what are they going after now in this current period?
And I think we were onto something here. Modern and sophisticated look that is more accommodating.
Mm-hmm.
Is it? It's not actually. But it stretches across our growing suite of products, positions us as the home for serious investors for the generations to come.
There it is.
Right?
There it is. Serious investors. That's the catch-all of this paragraph.
Right. Basically, there were a lot of people on board who were not doing anything on the app.
Yeah.
And that doesn't help them.
Absolutely.
Interesting. Yeah. Again, Robinhood is quickly evolving into a full-service financial platform. And so if you are that luxury of appeal, if you are positioned as the top of the funnel, then something new comes up in crypto, people will go to you. And if they have gone to you and they're investing in crypto, maybe they'll invest in the market as well. They'll do it through you. Yeah. So they're doing that entire chain of, they're fixing that chain basically.
Right.
Distinctive illustrative style, that's like a work of art. Okay. Is that the updated one?
Or is that the previous one?
Is that the previous one? Sophisticated use of photography? Yeah, probably.
Okay. Yes, we saw the mantis earlier.
Yeah. Photography for sure. Something's there in the photography. Even this, they haven't gotten rid of the green. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, lots of new typefaces, a serif one. Just lots of these really simplistic line. Okay, yeah. This is interesting because this is one vibe. This is pretty much a Collins vibe as well, if you will.
Sure.
Till this, it's Collins. This, I don't know. This one looks like a Patreon cover.
Yeah, you're capturing that correctly. I don't know what this is. From far away, okay, if you just stand on one of those stills, right, does it feel like there's a rhyme and a rhythm between those pieces of photography? I think that's the biggest issue.
The new gold standard. Bero, you got a competition from the financial sector.
No, yes, you do.
Interesting. So it's now photography dependent instead of illustration dependent. That's the vibe. And it's not even something specific. It's a financial platform. There can't be much specific photography either. And so it's just like cubes, dominoes, glasses within glasses. Just simple artistic things, as they mentioned, right? A new sophisticated use of photography.
Right.
But this line is there to hurt Collins.
Yeah, it's a bit of a misnomer because that's where you were, and it feels as if we are confused as to what existed before and what we're rolling out now. I'm just not all too sold on sort of what we've put together here.
The overarching ethos was less is more.
Okay, yeah. So you're getting into the simplicity, the minimalism, those arguments.
Do you think there's a possibility they have had Collins' help on it?
If it was, then I think it would have been known.
Makes sense.
I think we would have known that the collaboration continued, and maybe it should have, right? But
to me, it feels
it's
like
obviously
it has.
Really?
This entire strategy, maybe not the photography is that typical, but these things, the typography from this serif, all of these things, these are pretty much Collins, right?
I hear you, but I don't think it's hard. It's too hard to look at what Collins's work is and then emulate that in your own way.
That's true.
I try to do that as much as I can because they're incredible. But yes, again, Nick, if this was true, then we would have known it. I think it would have been publicized.
Interesting.
Yes, they have partnerships with NBA teams.
The only thing that you can say I'm finding a bit difficulty with is, it's not difficulty, it's kind of a mismatch, which is illustrations, black and white, simple monoline illustrations, 3D shapes, lots of typography, and then there's images of chains and glasses and bottles and all that.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll be able to balance it really well with the different touch points. That's possible.
Sure.
But let's see. Let's go into the website actually.
Yeah.
And let's figure out how does that look.
Again, my biggest issue comes from something that I've spent a lot of time studying from the best agencies out there and then kind of building an opinion around, is the idea that no matter what touch point I point at, it should all connect back to the brand itself.
Yes, makes total sense.
And one of those photography pieces like that sphere, if the Robinhood wasn't in the corner, if that text wasn't there, I would have thought you grabbed that from like unsplash.com, which is a free license-free stock photography website. That's my biggest issue here. Back in the day, when you looked at one of those illustrations, point at it, yes, that's Robinhood. I know from far away. And that works with customers. Here's why that's important for the traditional customers. And feel free to pull up the website.
I'll get your first reactions.
But if I'm a designer speaking on this, right, that's my biased opinion. But if I ask anybody who's a customer, who's a retail investor, they need something to latch onto, something really easy over time, right? No matter where they look. People are probably so used to like that one Robinhood style. So I'm not saying you keep that style if that's not what you need at this point. But still, there's a way to bring rhyme and rhythm and consistency so that you stay top of mind. This is a psychological game more than anything else, right?
Absolutely.
If you're going to put out something that doesn't look like you and doesn't connect with, the other things that you've created, then how is anything going to mesh well? It's all just going to become noise. And in a very noisy world, it's hard to stand out already.
Robinhood retirement reaches $10 billion in AUM, assets under management. So they are reaching places. So, yeah.
They are, yes.
Let's go. Let's look at the website. First opinions.
Okay. A cherry. The sweetest rewards. Okay. This feels like a really big consultancy or some kind of mathematical textbook that just creates an abstract background to some mathematical textbook, like in high school or something, that I would find and read.
Why is this green used? This would have looked good with the neon green itself.
Yeah, that's true. I think the black and the neon, though, would be hard on the eyes, probably.
I mean, it's there.
It's
on the
there.
website.
Yeah.
Interesting. Robinhood Crypto. Yeah, just photography. That's the new thing, basically.
Yeah.
It's a bit hard to read, but all right. Robinhood Protection. Yeah, and that's where we see the illustrations, which is also something I think that... So there's two directions that you can generally take. If you are having a mismatch of illustration, if you have illustrations on your plate and photography on your plate, one solution to kind of marry them both is simply that. Take a photography, you put some illustrations on it, really strategically. Then it becomes a piece of a photographic illustration kind of a thing. It becomes an imagery. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Having them both really separately, I think, is a difficult thing to pull off, because they will have to use them really strategically in the website and apps and other places, maybe on posters as little elements. But other than that, they will be pretty photography dependent, I would say. Right?
Correct. I think you're grabbing that correctly. There's a lot of these great like line work, the sort of the monoline illustrations. Maybe we should have seen more of that in the photography. There's ways to marry them together. There's also, it just requires a bit more thinking, I think.
There we go. Patreon back.
Wow.
But
this looks like this looks like a magazine cover, or one magazine page, which is not a bad thing, but
wouldn't you say that would have been a good direction?
It could have been. We could have continued to go for a retro feel, but this time like retro photography in that way. I think we're missing people for a very apparent reason, but there's no people in this type of photography. Is that speak to luxury investors? That's something to think about. Serious investors.
Maybe.
They like more of the abstract.
It turns away a lot of people, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Even with this part is just patch dark blue. Why? This could have had a darker blue. It's just black. And if you're talking about just photography as a whole, then use it to your advantage with the text as well. This is just simple, right? Trade on your time and your terms. This is just simple centered body copy. And so that is misutilizing the photography, if you will.
Correct.
For this part at least. And then this fold completely contrasts this fold. Just different typography, small text, limitations apply and all that. Even this image, really stale. Again, stale. Illustrations don't have any color, that's fine. But the background of the card might have had some color. Something. I'm looking for some elevation. especially after a bluish, Patreonish photograph. They just lose the color.
Right.
Robinhood Crypto. I think you're right. You're focusing, as we saw, the cards.
Like, okay, over time, this sort of illustration style I'm latching onto. It's speaking to me. It says, like, okay, this is something I can expect. This is a consistent effort. But then when we start showing the photography, it's somewhere the story just goes missing. It's like a plot hole. And when I go watch a movie, I want it to be really good. I want it to not have plot holes. That's the problem here.
And you're perfectly right, because here we reach, what are these icons? Where are they filled?
That's true.
Randomly.
Just with the outline circle, they put it together, but they are sort of a whole different direction.
I think you're right. That is the difficulty. They just loved the Collins direction. Then they were like, okay, it doesn't work for us probably.
Yeah.
Then they found this photography. Then they were like, okay, this looks good. We'll put text on photography, but illustrations look really good as well. Why don't we do that?
Yes.
Like with this, if you would want more people to read it easily, then this is not an accessibility thing. This is like a luxury thing itself. You're right.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you would have been the art director for this, wouldn't you use this typeface again here on the title? Maybe a bit smaller.
Yeah, that's a good question. And these are very tricky situations when you try to bring in, this is a serif typeface, then you're combining it with a sans serif. My number one rule would be to keep things simple, and if it's text-based, it's sans serif. If it's headline, it's serif. That's it.
Simple, right?
Simple, yeah.
Here in this entire fold, you won't find a single serif typeface. And that's the point. You don't, not only this entire folds after those, there's not one single serif typeface.
Yeah.
So they're just pointing to it and just leaving. That's not a good thing.
Yeah. There, in the previous branding, there was a marination of science and art. And when we go the science side, we were very particular. We were very clinical. Pure whites, the grays, the UI colors, everything very, very, crisp and clean and polished. And then on the art side, we were so spontaneous and we were merging those worlds together. Here, it feels like we don't know what we're trying to say. And not one cohesive word is coming out of the mouth. Although, it still looks like $1 million brand. The color scheme, everything well polished. The layout, the structure, the UI, everything is great about this whole experience. But again, it goes back to that foundational idea, the concept, the creative concept. Where did it go here? That for me is gonna miss.
Why would you have Dogecoin on the front part of a really big financial house?
No, I get what you're saying. See, that's the thing,
Solana,
though.
right?
That's the thing, right? Doge is one of the top. It is still one of the top cryptos on the market, right? Yes, it is, and it's probably why they still have it, right? So that's like the difficult thing, right? If we're talking about serious investors, well, the investors that are already on the platform and they have a lot of crypto in their portfolio, right? And these are the people that latched on kind of during the COVID era. So are we expecting more growth, and are we expecting just sort of like traditional serious investors? Are we looking at an older demographic? Is that why? We need a little more information here. And maybe if we deep dive into like their target audience and sort of look at the usage of their app, then we can find that answer. But I'm just unclear what that is.
Generally, if you're kind of portraying yourself as the product Robinhood Crypto, Then you would have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, maybe other coins, but Doge, it's kind of a mess for me. Even with this color of the nav bar, I don't much like it.
Yeah.
It's too dark. This color still would have worked. This light one.
Yeah. Yeah.
This feels off-putting. If I'll just keep it here, it doesn't go well with this color. This doesn't go well with the green.
Yeah.
The illustrations again, it's monoline, open filled, stroke monoline, filled.
Yeah.
Right? Filled icons.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, there's mismatch. They haven't been able to kind of marry the entire direction together. Or do they have one proper direction to go forward? Because again, what do you think of this?
It feels like, yeah, this one makes sense to me. I guess it's like the older, wiser water jug versus the younger,
Why is it not gold?
smaller water jug. Why is it not gold?
Why is it not gold? Why is it not gold?
Oh,
Robinhood gold?
gold.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Why not? You passing golden wisdom, passing golden money to the next generation. If that's the direction.
Yeah.
Shoo.
Okay, we're getting spontaneous. I've never seen that before. I actually like that picture because I've never seen it before. Maybe more like that. Maybe a crazy kind of spontaneity. You know, like they're like art installations.
Mhm. There you go. You put away all vegetarians. Vegetarians, vegans, we don't want them. Anybody who can buy chicken, come up. Interesting. This is actually really something to think about as well, I think, for them, because this does matter, I think, to some people.
Yeah.
Interesting where they're going with this, but I don't actually know where they're going with this. Again, okay. Apple announcement? No. The journey begins. To what? Why do they have a red ambience gradient? Is red a part of the color? Or is it because this guy's stocks are in red?
I thought they diluted all of the colors out and kept it to gray, lime green,
Gray, yeah.
black,
And,
white,
green, yeah.
and gold, and then that like very unsaturated blue.
Right. Trading platform in your browser for free. Platform in your browser for free. Okay.
Robinhood Legend. So now we have all these different product offerings. So we've come up with Robinhood Gold, Robinhood Legend. You know, is there something with the kind of moving images that could have worked better? You think?
I feel so.
I'm feeling something of that. Like that, not just pistons, that reminds me of like candlesticks that I see investors using.
Mm-hmm.
This actually works.
This works.
But
don't you think this Robinhood Legend as a product itself feels completely different? There's gradients, there's ambience gradients.
Yeah.
Again, pretty Swiss layouts.
Yeah.
You have this line in between separator lines.
Yeah.
This just feels like a different product.
Yes, I think this is more of an institutional investor dashboard. So
they love their random serifs.
That's true.
The I is about to just collide with the Y.
Yeah, that hurts. That sort of letting hurts my eyes.
Right. 2 words, just 2 words. Almost an often.
One more thing.
Mm-hmm.
One more thing is the Apple word. Okay. This is so altogether I like when they bring in some kind of motion. I think it adds something to the brand. That looks like literally the classic Apple font. How interesting.
After lots and lots of dark mode, we're finally on some light mode. They're using serifs like crazy.
Yeah.
Again, photograph. This doesn't it feel like a what is it that I'm thinking? Okay, like a framer like a Webflow page,
It
or
does.
maybe like a not like a Figma event,
Yeah.
Adobe event, if anything.
Yeah.
They were like, we couldn't care less about your monoline illustrations. Let's just go with the pack.
That's true. This is a completely different serif than the one they were using. This is
Right?
much more compact. This is the Apple serif.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's completely different. It's like
This page itself is different.
yeah, is this like instrument serif? I know that's very popular right now.
Mhm.
I don't recognize it. How interesting.
Glow, lots of glow, designed for the whole family. That's how they defined it. Okay. Yeah, you rightly said. The non-static images work. This little shine works.
Yeah, that adds a little bit something to it. This looks like a frame I would see in a movie, you know? It's a little bit like that.
Couldn't even render a name on it. That feels a bit blank.
Yeah, that's true. We could have had John Doe on there and it would have been perfect.
John Doe is the most famous in the design field because he's nobody.
That's true.
The new gold standard. Okay.
Again, why is that static? Can that be moving, please? It would have added so much visual interest.
And that's kind of our assessment as well towards the end, which is they have amazing designers on board and none of them have decided on one thing.
Yeah.
Just everyone kind of doing everything.
It really feels like every page is designed by someone else, and every page is trying to tell a different kind of story, which I get. Like every page is a different product.
In a way, yeah. In a way. Like these cards were clickable on other pages. I can't click them now.
Yeah.
So simple things. Just simply IA information architecture things.
Right.
Pretty fixable. That's what I believe. They just need one good design director and just one vision. Just stick with it.
Yeah, stick with one vision.
It'll be very probable one. Okay, we spent 37 minutes on it. Amazing, guys.
Yeah.
Hope you learned something from the chatter. It was all spontaneous. We had fun because we saw lots of designs.
We did.
So as a designer, it was fun.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to bookmark this website and see okay, all these different things I can pull from and all these different ideas. Right. But I won't be able to use them all in one project because my mind won't be able to process that much information. So imagine what a user who visits this website must be feeling, right? Who's not a designer, who has to parse all of this visual information. It's a lot. So again, as your assessment goes, we need one single vision, one single narrative that can just bring everything together once more as it used to be.
Right, totally. To kind of summarize, like based off of what we all thought, what we together thought is consistent use of serifs, have some motion, some lights in your images, don't keep it a static one, and use photography if possible. If anything, use it like a magazine cover or anything, but don't just leave it hanging. Don't just put it there and go for normal monoline cards and illustrations. And even in those, make sure you are using your serifs properly, because maintaining the balance of serif and non-serif is difficult anyway. We know that. So if you're going for it, then go for it properly. That's about it. You have budget. Budget is not an issue. 10 billion in assets under management in just one product. So that's lots of money. And keep doing great work if possible. Collaborate with Collins again.
Yes. Please do.
Come up with something amazing.
You left a hole in my heart, which I'm going to have to fill with the next Collins project.
Yes. Amazing, guys. Hope you learned something. Bye-bye. Take care.
Take care.